but I will find you. If I will not like the video about me, I will find you.
Welcome to Chisinau, capital of Moldova, which, as well as being one of Europe's poorest or least well-off countries, is one of its least visited countries. There are so few tourists here. You know those free walking tours that are in absolutely every city and they're really kind of copy format in terms of how they work? There's none of those here whatsoever. So I'm going to bring you around. Ignore the continuity. The shirts are going to change. It's 8:30 in the morning and I'm already starting to sweat. But maybe after this, Chisinau will be firmly on your travel list. So I'm arriving here at the reason I'm in Chisinau for these 2 weeks, which is to work here at Refugee Support Europe's Dignity Centre, Chisinau, because there are literally tens of thousands, just shy of 100,000 Ukrainian refugees here. We're in this centre working to do our bit to help both the Ukrainian refugees and the Moldovan people who've been so generous in helping them in our dignity market, which allows people, rather than being a basket of aid that somebody else decides what you get, the people that register with us get to use credits, get to come in, choose things like a normal shop. It's their choice entirely. We've got the market, we've got a play area. Every day we see brightness, we see sad stories, we see reactions of laughter, of tears, hugs in the centre. And it's really fantastic to be here. And as I do just a little bit, because God knows a lot needs to be done to help Ukraine. So that's where I am for these 2 weeks.
Greetings from Chisinau, the capital of Moldova.
Now, if you've seen anything about Chisinau on YouTube, you've seen this video by Bald and Bankrupt. It's certainly the first thing I ever saw about Chisinau on here. And let me tell you, in this city, it is notorious because he's scathing about the place. He's scathing about the condition it's in and why it explains why so few people come here. So this is the prism through which I saw the city before I arrived.
Look at it. This is like something in Afghanistan. This isn't Europe, surely to God.
Welcome to Chisinau, I should say. So far, at any rate, not the city of Bald and Bankrupt fame, one of competing streets of broken pavements, of dodgy underpasses, and of general miserable scene. It's a city so far of just beautiful parks, of fountains, of Parisian style cafes, of people just sitting around, families enjoying themselves. I'm assured the part I'm in is the best part, so more will be revealed. But as a first impression on a beautiful sunny Sunday, this isn't bad.
And it's not just fancy Parisian cafes. If you want to dance with the old folk in 35 centigrade heat, you can do it here at Stefan de Mare Central Park. Across the road is Cathedral Park. The other end of Pushkin Street, you've got Valea Moralor Park with a big lake in the centre. This is also the park where I thought it'd be a great idea to get a little bit of footage of the Moldovan army marching through. Chisinau is a safe place and all that, but being inadvertently identified by the army as a Russian in this point of time, not the best idea. I'd beat a hasty retreat. Globally, we're a lot more familiar with that map of Moldova than we used to be. Obviously, it borders Ukraine. Obviously, you have Transnistria as the breakaway republic that's Russia sympathizing. And that's just one part of the West versus East dynamic that's happening in Moldovan politics and in society, and which was very visible here. Again, from my first day here, the Pride Parade in Chisinau. But look at the security, heavily armed police there to protect the Pride Parade from counter-protesters with signs like these, and a city administration that did everything in their power to stop the Pride Parade from going ahead. Later the same day, that anti-government, pro-Russian, anti-integration with the EU group protesting in theory against the rising costs of living, but obviously against that move westwards just days before Moldova was confirmed as an EU candidate country.
Here in the Parliament, across the road, the presidency, Moldova is all about the EU. EU flags flying everywhere. Now, Stefan de Mare is basically the busiest shopping street here in Chisinau. Beautiful long boulevard, loads of high-end shops, very few kind of, again, tourist shops, not things that are kind of touristy oriented. You've got some magnificent government buildings and theatres and cultural places one side, a lot of the shops the other side. Yeah, I really don't know what that thing's doing either.
Along Stefan de Mare, you're going to see bolt scooters flying up and down. They're a great way of getting around the city. Very durable, good for whacking into those footpaths and potholes. And a 1.6 lei a minute, that's about 8 cents. Great value. This is Stefan de Mare, after whom the boulevard and the park and quite a lot of other things are named. He's on the banknotes too.
Moldova's National History Museum is adorned out front with this frankly disturbing statue of Romulus and Remus suckling at the teeth of a wolf. Apparently these have been gifted all around Europe, or were gifted all around Europe by Mussolini, and quite a number of them are in Romania and Moldova. But this is a fantastic museum in terms of actually insight to this region, particularly in the current context of the war in Ukraine. Just see how closely they're aligned. Places like Moldova, Ukraine and Romania are.
So what else have we got to see around Chisinau? Well, we've got Orthodox churches, street art, brutalist buildings, and at the stunning central train station we have this poignant memorial to the forced deportation of Moldovans by the Soviet Union, and certainly evocative of what's happening to Ukrainians today.
So it's still hot as hell here in Chisinau, and in front of the main train station, here to see what's probably the most famous thing right now about Moldova, which is the train from Chisinau to Bucharest. And there it goes, about 1 minute early. You tried to time these things, you couldn't. That's nice music and all on the platform, but come on, there's only one song they should be playing.
So staying in what we can only describe as a sleepy train station, let me literally bring you to the other side of the tracks, where you're going to find Chisinau's rambling and random flea market.
It kind of stretches the other side of the railway line. In fact, it's here, it's right between the tracks. It's early, lots of dogs lying around lazily. Not many people here just yet, but it sprawls and it sprawls. And there's anything and everything here. And it's all cheap. It's all old, let's face it. So if you're by the railway station, if you got a little bit of time, Come over and see, can you pick yourself a bargain? €1.50. Jeans $2.50. It's all here. As opposed to the flea market, the main market is absolutely huge. Just fantastic, everything you could want. Food, clothes, electronics, fashions. No tourist tap because there's just no tourists.
It would take a long time and a lot of time-lapse footage to show you the entirety of this market, but take it from me, this is so impressive. It's one of the best of these type of markets I think I've ever seen. The food section alone, your mouth will be watering. Just off the back of Stefan de Mare Boulevard, and as I say, it goes on for ages.
And just when you think you've reached the end of this market, there's even more. In truth, my time here in Chisinau is building up to one thing, one moment, one experience. I give you Moldova.
Okay, so it's just a shopping mall, but come on, what a name. You've got to respect that. Now, as is the nature of these things, I don't actually have a lot of footage of bars and restaurants because we were enjoying the bars and restaurants. But take it from me, it's great. Great cafes, great restaurants, great bars, including late night dive bars, and also some interesting dance venues, for which I'm probably a little bit outside the demographic. Though there's one unique and specific venue that we did go to, but we'll come back to that. No, not this one, but again, what a name.
Talking about Mr. Bald, we do have to talk about the underpasses, because that's the one thing I think that everybody remembers is, you know, broken paving in the underpasses. There's about a dozen of them around the city, and yeah, they're a little bit unkempt, but they form shopping malls. They form quick ways to get across busy highways. There's great street art in them. It's just part of your journey across town, with a few loose paving stones. That really seems to come down to it. It's only a real problem around here. A few loose paving stones. Seriously.
What's that man on the camera following us?
My very last day was actually the only time we got outside the city limits, out to the Cricova Winery. It is a famous winery known among connoisseurs for its huge underground warren of streets where they store literally millions of bottles. But we weren't just there for the tour, we were there for their sunset party. And yes, there was free wine.
It's
So you're drinking Swiss wine.
Here we are in remouage department. From French language, remouage means rotation. So here we have to rotate every single bottle you see here around us. We have around us more than 500,000 of bottles full with sparkling wine. The wine against the light. We will always choose only cork, natural.
So this room here is the room where Vladimir Putin celebrated his 50th birthday. Let's hope he has no more.
Now there's lots more to see on the tour, of course, but we have a party to go to.
guessing you didn't have this in your Chisinau checklist. Sunset party at the Cricova Winery just outside the city.
Two things struck me most of all at the sunset party. One was how incongruous that we were having this great night while barely 40 miles away you cross the border into a country that is literally fighting for its life. But the other thing that struck me at Cricova was just how fantastic the Moldovan people had been through this trip. The lack of tourists there, I said it again, means that people are so open. Whenever we were out, it's just so easy to talk to people, to get to know them a little better, to let them know a little more about their lives here in Moldova. I certainly wasn't ready, and I certainly didn't expect Chisinau to be such an attractive place to be, but the real reward in coming here was the people we met.
So, ready for departure from Chisinau on the edge of the runway. It's kind of a little bit unsecure. It looks like I could run onto it if I wanted. Yeah, that is a man cycling. Not much more to say. This is a great place. Full of surprises. I really don't know why I was thinking that it wouldn't be, but seriously, come here, first opportunity, but you'll be tired leaving. That's the one thing I'll say. Very, very tired. See ya.
And leaving, the sun rose in the east above Ukraine. Please continue to remember and stand by Ukraine. And if you can, please support Refugee Support Europe. Visit refugeesupporteu.com. Oh, if you need another reason to come here, Alina has it.
Everybody have to come to Chisinau because I'm here actually. Yeah, that's all.